Well, horse racing has been called the sport of kings, and Bob Mazeroski saw it as his ticket to wealth and fame. But while his career took him to the winner's circle, his family was left back at the starting gate.
On the stretch he comes. Don't tell me no more. Opening up with each and every stride.
Bob Mazeroski began training racehorses when he was 12 years old. That's when his stepfather became disabled and could no longer exercise the horses he owned. So the responsibility fell on a young man who had never even ridden a horse.
He smacked the horse on the rear end, and that was my introduction to training and driving. And I began to go around that track faster than I wanted, and I think I was zigzagging all over the place because I was so nervous, you know, turning the lines every which way. But even though it scared me to death, I fell in love with it, and I knew from that moment on that that's what I wanted to do, you know, with my life.
A party lifestyle in college caused Bob to fail most of his classes. Before long, he quit school and began working full-time at a nearby racetrack. That's where he met Tracy. The couple quickly married, and Bob's career took off. It started with a new job at an elite training center in Pennsylvania, and a horse named Don't Tell Me No More.
Don't Tell Me No More ended up being the #1 horse in the world. So it was like a childhood dream, you know, and everything that was my goals all came to pass, you know, in that one horse.
Bob had created a legend, and soon the thrill of winning became an addiction.
There was the power, you know, of the animal at high speed, the competition factor, and even the high, if you will, of winning.
Winning wasn't the only addiction Bob picked up.
It got to a place where I was actually drinking by 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, drinking all day, still able to function, race horses at night, and then, you know, hit the clubs after the races and party till they shut down. I mean, I was coming home sick in front of my children, being verbally abusive to my wife, you know, running around, proving unfaithful.
Tracy was concerned for her own safety and that of her 2 young daughters. One Sunday afternoon, Bob drank 14 cans of beer while washing the car. Tracy was done with the marriage.
I just had hit a point that I couldn't take it anymore. He began to get sick again, violently ill in the bathroom, and I had to basically lie to my children again. You know, Daddy's just got the flu, and I'm sure, you know, I just got tired of covering it up and tired of playing the game and pretending everything was okay when really I was dying inside.
I didn't understand that we were leaving. I would always ask my mama, when's Dad coming? She didn't say we're gonna get a divorce, but she said, me and you and Ashley are gonna get our own house and I'm gonna get a job, and it was her nice way of telling us that it was permanent.
It then hit me that she had taken the girls and had left, and she moved in with her mother back in Ohio, which was about an hour away, and we were separated close to 6 months. And during that time, the drinking got even worse.
As Bob's addiction accelerated, Tracy was looking for answers in her own life. She attended a Bible study with her mother. Later that night, Tracy picked up a Bible, and her life changed forever.
And I opened that Bible up, and I said, I just began to weep, and there were tears literally covered both pages of that Bible. I mean, they were soaked, and I just remember saying, God, if you are really real, if you truly have sent your Son here to save me, which I had heard in the Bible studies, make yourself real to me. And I just remember the presence of God so strong. And I remember not feeling alone.
As she began to live out her new faith, Tracy tried to reach out to Bob, but he refused to listen.
But I can remember conversations on the phone where I would say the most hateful and cruel things to her. I remember one day, you know, specifically saying, and I know she can tell you this, can't you get it through your head? I just don't love you, and hung up on the phone.
Then one morning, he woke up covered in blood.
I woke up to dried blood all over me, all over my arm, hand, the sheets. And I instantly went into a panic. So I got out of bed and I began to walk through the house trying to figure out, what happened. Did I kill somebody? Did I get in a fight? What happened to me? I couldn't figure it out. And as I went into the kitchen of my home, this double pane window that was above the kitchen sink, it was gone. What I had done the night before was come home in a rage and put my fist and my arm through those two sheets of glass, cut myself badly and didn't even know it, and went in and just passed out in the bed, and laid there bleeding.
After that experience, Bob realized how serious his problems had become. To add to his drinking problem, he had stopped paying the bills. With the utilities shut off and no one around, Bob cried out to God.
One night in the darkness of my home, I knelt down bedside and just began to cry, began to talk to God, and began to say, God, if you are real, make yourself real to me, change my life, and put the pieces back together, because I don't want to go this way anymore.
The next day, Bob told Tracy what he had done.
We began to talk, and it was shortly thereafter that we got back together, and God began to heal our marriage, put all the pieces back together. But another great thing in that story is when I prayed that prayer, I was instantly set free of alcoholism and dependency.
Not long after, on the way to the winter training facility in Pinehurst, North Carolina, Bob felt an overwhelming sense that he needed to walk away from horse racing. Several hours into the trip, he turned around and headed home to resign.
I called the owner of the horses and told him, and he thought I was just absolutely crazy.
After Bob left horse racing, he continued to study and grow closer to the Lord. Today, Bob and Tracy are pastors of a church in Wierton, West Virginia.
God has answered the prayers of a praying wife, and as I prayed for my husband and interceded, even though I saw no results, he knew that everything hung in the balance. He was faithful to do it.
No marriage is beyond help. I can prove that. No sinner is too big or too evil for God to save. Nothing is impossible with God. And I love the verse in Genesis 50 that says, what the enemy meant for evil, God used it for good. And I'm living proof of that. And if he did it for me, he can do it for anybody.
If he did it for me, he can do it for anybody.